big crater he just spawned in. Oh god, his landing gear is desynced on my screen as well. Gotta remember that's there, I don't want to taxi into it. Hey Jeff, yeah, totally no collusion whatsoever. None at all. Remind me to sub on Friday. I'll try, but I have a terrible short-term memory, so there's every chance I'll forget as well. But yeah, I've been planning to get on for a bit, and then I realized, oh shit, it's getting kind of late. I should probably jump on if I'm going to, so here we are. I gotta be real careful, because the reason his landing gear is invisible is because it's, it desynced. I think it's damaged. He spawned there where that wreckage is, and upon taxiing out of it, broke his gear, I think. Yeah, I wasn't sure how much longer he'd be streaming, but I thought, you know, he'll probably be finishing pretty soon, so I might as well jump on now, rather than wait any longer. Oh shit, there's a crater there as well. What the fuck? What have these guys done to my beautiful airport? Jesus. Seen JDam the spawn locations earlier? No. I ran off to get something to eat. I heard the chat going on about it afterwards, so I wish I had seen it. I might have to go back and catch it on the VOD later. A little more reserved with the taxiing at the moment due to the whole rudder pedal thing, but we're going alright so far. I've kind of found a workaround for it. I have to sort of jiggle the pedals around until it slots into where it's broken, and then just put heel pressure on it. So it still works kind of. It doesn't have quite the range of motion on the left pedal, but I've had that problem for a long time anyway. And I've just got to remember no toe brakes on the left side at all, because then it just lifts the thing off the track and it's totally loose. Which pedals do you have? Thrustmaster, T-Flight, like the dual-purpose driving and flying ones. I mean, they're not really bad pedals, it's just that I'm so heavy-footed with this kind of shit that probably I should have taken that into consideration and bought something a little more robust. Ideally with a bit more metal in it, because these are basically all plastic, aside from the rails, so... I thought that they'd be able to stand up to my abuse, but I was wrong. Yeah, so you'd probably know exactly what I'm talking about then when I say they're broken, like the vertical stand that the actual the pedal itself pivots on for the braking. At the bottom of that, it's cracked across. There's nothing for it to hold on to. If it had cracked along the length of that vertical piece, I could have like tie wrapped it together or something. But hate the detent. Yeah, me too. It's really mushy. I can't really get it to be consistent. So I haven't done it for all my aircraft, but I had set quite a broad dead zone in the middle on a lot of them. Otherwise, it was just too sensitive. JB Weld. I'm not sure if JB Weld will hold it. It's like it's the worst possible break. I can't think of, you know, anything that's really likely to hold it. Because as soon as I put pressure on it again, it's just going to break along the same line. Have to lift my feet off to center. Yeah, I've been doing the same pretty much. Or kind of pedaling back and forth until I can actually feel it. It usually takes a couple of goes. It is kind of irritating. The reason I got these is just because of the price point. Like, I don't really play that many driving games anymore, and I don't have a wheel, so they're only being used as rudder pedals. I just needed something that wouldn't break the bank after I forked out for the Warthog, because I bought the whole lot in one go. I kind of wish I hadn't now, because it was just gathering dust for about half a year anyway, until I had a USB hub so I could plug everything in. Something feels off about my track IR today. Might just be that. Might be my eyes. I don't know. That should be centered. It looks about right. It's just, it feels kind of weird with the tracking. Driving pedals cost more than a Warthog or two? Oh, jeez, dude. Them's some pricey pedals, holy shit. See, if I had my time again with regards to purchasing my HOTAS setup, I would have put a little more money into the pedals, and I might have got the Virpil stick instead. Because I do fly mostly Eastern Bloc stuff, so that style of stick is more intuitive for what I fly. But the Warthog works just fine for it. You know, it's a good stick. On a stick and Virpil base. Yeah, I've heard really good things about the base. Really, really good things. Really, the only bad thing about that setup is that the stick is quite a bit longer than the or taller than the Warthog on its base. And that would be an issue for me because my Warthog, as is, I have to have it to the right of my screen so it doesn't obscure my vision. It sits on my desk. So, you know, without a proper desk setup, which I don't have the money to build or really the time or materials, and this desk isn't set up very well for it. Without that, I'm best off just sticking with the Warthog so it doesn't take up too much space on the desk and I can just take it off the desk when I'm not playing because otherwise it gets in the way. Box mounts? Yep. Well, here's the thing, right? So I only have, what, a 24-inch monitor or something, and it sits quite far back on my desk. My keyboard sits quite far back when I'm playing DCS. This stuff is kind of at a I'd like this actually further out in front of me, because I got quite long arms, but it's comfortable enough, I guess. And then, a lot of the time, I'm sitting quite far back as well, so it just adds even more length into the system, which I don't want. Otherwise, then I have to bring my monitor forwards, and I've got all this wasted space on my desk, and then, like, I don't have a keyboard tray on this. This isn't a computer desk. This is just an old desk that we, like an old office desk or something that we picked up from a charity store because I didn't bring my old desk with me when I moved. And that was only a real cheap sort of, you know, prefab thing anyway.
200-й, 120-й. Дайте курс на ближайшую цель. 120-й, 200-й. Обнаружена цель. 2-8.
At 10, holy fuck, he's high. Well, we're going upstairs.
Дистанция не меняется.
Flying setup's about as sensible as if you try to set up a HOTAS in your car, yeah. Yeah, mine's very much just kind of knocked together from whatever spare space I can find. It always has been, to be honest. Like, I don't really have the money to invest into a dedicated setup, so I need something that works for everything I play. Hey, Bomb, thanks for the raid, dude. Totally no collusion or anything.
Hello, Rabbit Leader. I thought you might come in from the sun.
Alright, where is this guy? Probably still up here somewhere.
200-й, 120-й. Дайте курс на ближайшую цель. 120-й.
293 for 100. He's right off my nose. He's still above. Wow. Oh, he's in space, man. I'm just hoping, so I'm getting a bit close to Kataisi, I'm hoping I don't get the integrity check bullshit kick off again. It wasn't the file you sent me, by the way, Pom. It's the same name, but it's elsewhere in the temp textures folder. It's a afterburner texture. It's got wheels on it too, but it's an afterburner can. Because sopla is Russian for, like, nozzle, so... I don't know what it's an afterburner can for. I assume a static jet on the ground, like, that's being used as scenery or something, but... whatever it is, it does not do me any favors when I go near Kataisi on this server.
200-й, 120-й.
Did more digging?
Дайте курс на ближайшую цель.
Yeah, I don't know how it would be corrupted or anything either, because I've never changed anything on that file.
Обнаружена цель. 300.
Oh, he's dropped to the ground. He's probably trying to bait me over his air
Дистанция не
defense.
меняется. Дайте курс на ближайшую цель. 120-й, 200-й.
Yeah, Wiggles is on my team at the moment.
Удаление 60. На 11.
Actually, how's he going so far? It's fine, the J11. 4 kills for 2. Not bad, Wiggles, not bad. Still mad about my little 4-kill rampage, which I got fucked over on. Oh, hello. Hello. Who's this? I can see him, he's conning right off my nose. Just briefly had a launch off. Oops, what am I doing? There we go. 177, 1 ET, Game freezes. Get rid of this belly tank so we can maneuver a little more aggressively.
Переведи в набор. Переведи в набор. Переведи в набор. Переведи в набор.
200-й, 120-й. Дайте курс на ближайшую цель.
120-й, 200-й. Обнаружена цель. 302. Удаление 19. На 3000. Сближайтесь.
Двухсотый, 120-й. Дайте курс на ближайшую цель.
120-й, 200-й. Обнаружена цель. 303. Удаление.
Ah, got me. We got each other, I think. Yeah, we did.
Отказ ПЛС. Управляй.
That's actually his wreck that just flew past me.
Отказ гидросистемы. Пожар левого двигателя. Скорость
Well then.
предельная.
I let him get too close to me there, but oh well. I was hoping one of those first two missiles would connect. I'm gonna go turn my heater off because it's actually a bit too warm in here. Give me a moment, guys. Okay. We will go again. Probably be easier for me using the 27 because data link, but I really do want to get back into the swing of the MiG-29. And you do feel the weight difference in the aircraft. This thing is so light and accelerates so well.
Перезарядка по плану. Прием.
Hello. Thanks to the host, Scramble Jams.
Hello, Rabbit Leader. I thought you
And
might
welcome
come
to the
into
stream. Okay, we are fully equipped, so we'll get the engines running. Hey, Knight. Taking the MiG-29 out for a spin today. How do I get into DCS? That's a hard question to answer, to be honest. I think you need a bit of a love of flying. You need some patience. A little... Click the icon, yeah, that works. You don't need to be an absolute fanatic that knows everything about air combat, but it helps to know a little. It gives you a bit more to work with as you're learning. I'd pick something that's relatively simple to fly as your first aircraft. Probably, I would recommend the MiG-21, although a lot of people wouldn't. The Mirage is also a good option. Something that does have a clickable cockpit, and which doesn't need as many complex HOTAS binds, because you might not want to sink the money into a HOTAS setup, or you might not be able to remember them like me. So something that's simple, full fidelity, and fun. If you're more into the air combat side of things, I could definitely recommend the Mirage. That is a bucket of fun. Dogfighting in that is just brilliant. I'd also recommend starting out with some of the tutorials, perhaps. I usually skip those because that's the kind of person I am, but they can help teach you some of the basics. You'll get a sense of which things you need to bind to what on your control setup. And from there, I spent a while in PvE servers, so flying co-op with other players against the AI, just to get some time to adjust to the aircraft systems and how it handles. It gives you a basic sense of how to fly it in combat, although the AI is nothing like a human player. Then once you're confident you can manage your aircraft and its systems, you can jump on a PvP server like I'm on right now, and practice by killing other players. Or, as I usually do, dying a lot to other players. Depending how into flight sims you are, like I went ahead and bought a Thrustmaster Warthog, which is one of the more expensive HOTAS setups, because A, I had the money at the time, and B, my older stick had broken, and I wanted something that is so solidly built that's going to last me a very long time. But if you just pick up one of the sort of mid-range HOTAS setups for like $150, $200, that's all you really need. I mean, technically you don't even need that, depending what aircraft you fly. Flying the Mirage, you probably don't even need a HOTAS, really. Just something with a separate throttle axis and a couple buttons. And a hat switch, that's it. Thanks for the follow, by the way, Knight. Yeah, Pom has some complaints about his trigger though, I think, on his. I don't know if that's just an age thing, because he's had it for so long.
Отказ систем. Смотри экран.
One thing I will say, having a HOTAS setup is great, but man, I really find myself missing force feedback. I used to have a force feedback stick, I used to play IL-2 a lot with it, and it was a whole other experience. For those of you who have seen the few times I've flown Spitfire on stream in DCS, the reason I handle that thing so sloppily is because I'm used to not being able to pull like that. My stick would physically prevent me from doing it. You really kind of recognize just how much you're missing from the pilot-aircraft interface when you've flown a particular aircraft with force feedback and then without it. I mean, in my dreams, there'll be something like the Warbird base with, you know, the cam system in that, but also with some kind of force feedback. That would be absolute god tier, but I don't think it's ever going to happen. Or if it does, it's going to be well out of my price range. Looks like Blue's picked up a bunch of players, so it should be a target-rich environment. Play with the Grim Reapers. I don't really play with any organized groups in DCS, to be honest. A lot of it's because my time zone is arguably the worst time zone on Earth. So it's really hard for me to organize anything like that. And also, I just find it hard to keep track of, like, if I'm in too many groups at once. So in DCS, I usually just fly alone. Sometimes I'll have a couple friends come on and fly with me. I do play Arma 3 with an organized group, so that kind of takes up all my attention.
1, 2, 0. Значение. Взлет по готовности. Отход по схеме на 300. Подавление 7, 1, 2,4, 8.
Just hoping it happens soon. Wasn't there, I mean, I'm totally behind the curve on the news here, but wasn't there some sort of patent lawsuit applying to force feedback sticks, which means basically we're not going to see any new ones in the near future? I could have sworn I heard something about that. That just expired? Oh, thank God. In that case, yeah, I hope that's what we see then. A Warbird base with force feedback, yes please. Sign me right up.
Двухсотый, 120-й. Дайте курс на ближайшую цель.
120-й, 200-й. Обнаружена цель. 278. Удаление 80 на 500. Дистанция не меняется.
Go for it, Gun. I was trying to find the Doom guy one that used to get posted on Hardest stream a lot. I can't find the link to it. I'm really disappointed. Racing streamer I follow, we recommend a game to him that relies heavily on red, green buttons and colouring overlays. He's colourblind! So, I think I've told this story on stream before, but there's a lot of people here, so probably at least some of them wouldn't have heard this. So, for a little while, I was in the Australian Army Reserve. I was in the infantry, I ended up injuring myself, so unfortunately it didn't work out. I do miss it a lot. But one of our guys was really, really over-the-top motivated. Like, you know the guys that just get into it. After we got back from basic training, he had our platoon number from basic training, not our actual unit, tattooed across his chest in Roman numerals. Like, he was really, really motivated. Some would argue motardy. Anyway, after a couple months of him being, you know, in an infantry unit, it was somehow discovered he was colorblind. Now, to be in the infantry, you can't be colorblind. You have to have perfect color vision. It can be corrected, it just has to be good color vision, right? So, he ended up getting a transfer, and we were on a multi-user depot, like a fairly decent-sized base for a reserve base. And we had, you know, all these different units with us. He got transferred to the combat support battalion on our base as a quartermaster. He was a fucking blanket stacker, and every time we went to draw something from the fucking armory or get a piece of kit replaced, we would just give him hell for it. I mean, he took it in his stride, good on him, but it was just so funny after he spent so long hyping up him being in the infantry.
Двухсотый, 120-й. Дайте курс на ближайшую цель.
120-й, 200-й. Обнаружена цель.
Just story time, Jeff, that's all. I think you might have heard that one before, I'm not sure.
Сближайтесь.
I let 345th mission streams speak for themselves, go on. Besides, I don't want to get too stuck into people who are actually identifiable to anyone that watches my stream, like, this guy, no one's gonna know who he is unless they actually personally know me, so...
200-й, 120-й, дайте курс на ближайшую цель. 120-й, 200-й, обнаружена цель, 274, удаление 45, на 4000, сближайтесь.
It's pretty long range on that, I'm not gonna fire yet. Actually, hang on, that might be his jammer.
Дайте курс на ближайшую цель.
Yeah, we'll let go a missile there. And we will shortly follow it up with a 77. He's already got one out on me, of course. We're gonna override it.
Переведи в набор. 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 Переведи в набор.
200-й, 120-й, дайте курс на ближайшую цель.
And right when I need AWACS, someone else has got him tied up.
Дайте курс на ближайшую цель.
Did I get the guy? No.
Двухсотый, 120-й, дайте курс на ближайшую цель.
Must have dropped into a valley.
200-й, 120-й, дайте курс на ближайшую цель. 120-й, 200-й.
That or someone else tagged him, maybe.
289, удаление 80.
Yeah, it hasn't credited me, so who knows?
Дайте курс на ближайшую цель.
I'm also out of countermeasures because MiG-29 get barely any compared to the Western aircraft. And AWACS is busy again.
200-й, 120-й, дайте курс на ближайшую цель. 120-й, 200-й, обнаружена цель. 304, удаление 70, на 7000. Дистанция не меняется. Двухсотый, 120-й, дайте курс на ближайшую цель. 120. Дайте курс на ближайшую цель.
Oh, that's one of their ground installations, by the way. I should probably not go near that.
Обнаружена цель. 310. Удаление 70 на 6000. Расходитесь.
Yeah, so I didn't get credited for a kill there, so I don't know what happened to that guy. Someone else might have splashed him. Who knows? Not me. Alright, I'll catch up to chat here in a sec. Buddy's dream is to be a cinematographer. Terrible grades despite trying really hard. Ooh, ouch. Yeah, I mean, because I guess if you're colorblind, you're not going to know until someone tells you, right? It's just, it's one of those things, that's just the way it's always looked to you, so you don't know any better.
Дайте курс на ближайшую цель. Двухсотый. 120. Дайте курс на ближайшую цель.
See some particularly dodgy rudder shit going on here because I lost the center on it. There we go. Did someone call for picture? Why is AWAFS not talking to me? Bit of a freeze there. I think I'm just gonna go refuel and rearm over the mountains. Like going to Nalchik or Beslan or something. I got 2 little fuel left to tussle with someone and only 2 mid-range missiles.
Ставок 120. Возврат.
Of course, that's on the condition I can actually get a reply out of the ATC. Right where I am. Thought Munch was a troll bot? Yeah, basically. When you realise you've been actively broadcasting your position for the past 10 minutes because you left the radar on. Is there a way to get English in the Red Team ATC? I don't think so. But I mean, there's subtitles. So, at least you've got that. Or, you know, just speak Russian. Okay, apparently I'm closer to Nalchik now.
Нальчик 120. Возврат.
I'm not sure if this is modeling like the radio not getting over the mountains or what. Maybe I need to be up higher. Jesus, that freeze was not well timed. So for those new to the channel, Munch here, otherwise known as Lipitil, or however the fuck you pronounce that, is our resident socially maladjusted gremlin. He communicates in memes. Please don't judge him, he can't help his problem. Yeah, right, okay, I'll believe that when I see it, Munch. I don't believe I've ever seen you go for more than 5 minutes without saying the word meme. In fact, you usually can't go more than 1 minute without saying it. Okay, we're over the mountains now, so surely... Oh, now we're close to Beslan, I guess.
Ставок 120. Возврат.
1-2-0. Посадку запрещаю. Уходите на запасной.
Interesting.
Нальчик 120. Возврат.
1-2-0. Мальчик. Следуйте курсом 3-4-6. Удаление 7-0. Давление 7-1-6,8-0. Посадочное 2-4. Занимайте высоту круга.
346 for 70, that is quite a long way. And I'm getting kinda low on fuel, but we should be okay. Munch, I'm quite certain you say Twitch emotes in real life. I'm quite certain. Yeah, he is. While we're here, I'm gonna look up a binding because it's... Oh, that's not my keybinds. Because one of them seems not to be working, and I kind of need it here. But first we're gonna actually put some rudder in so we're not veering off course. Yeah, close enough. Just controls. Alright, Ah, it isn't bound. Okay. Well, we're gonna go... Ah, okay, so that does do something. Alright then, disregard. We're just gonna look up what it is on the keyboard. Left control tilt.
Нальчик 120. Прибой.
1-2-0. Мальчик, Беринг. Ваш прибой 3-2-8.
Just froze for a bit. Yeah, it does freeze sometimes on this server. Holy fuck. Okay, so I just got bombed with notifications on my phone. That was cool. I love when it does that. Okay, so we should be pretty close now. In fact, that looks like another chick down there. About to get our 1500 call for the fuel, which means we should have plenty here. There it goes. 1500 kilograms remaining.
Работайте с посадкой. Проверьте выпуск шасси. Ветер у земли 3-4-0. Скорость 3 метра в секунду. Посадочная 2-4. Один, два, ноль. Посадку запрещаю. Уходите на второй круг.
Runway occupied. I'd like to know who by. It's pretty clear to me.
Hey, what are you doing?
What indeed? I'm landing, that's what I'm doing.
Ветер у земли 3-4-0. Скорость 3 метра в секунду. Посадочная 2-4.
I might need to go around. That's actually way too steep of an approach. I'm picking up speed. Well, I don't know. I probably would have had to do a go around because I was coming in fast, but my net dropped right as I was coming in over the inner marker, so I have no clue. It always picks the worst possible time to do it. It's either as I'm about to fire at someone, or as I'm about to land. Always those, or on my takeoff run. Those are the 3 times that I'll lose my internet connection. Internet should help out us Aussies immensely. I doubt it. It'll probably make the situation worse because I can already tell what's going to happen. Like, the way that communication infrastructure in this country has been handled is criminal. And someone coming in to save the day by throwing more money into their own solution is... I don't like it. Smells like another Telstra. Like, our internet now, I would rate above American internet. Like, no joke, it's actually better. It might not be as fast in places, but it's more consistent. I'm gonna take a 27 this time. It's more consistent, and we're less screwed by non-compete agreements and stuff. Like, we don't have to deal with that shit. So, like, the main problem with Australian internet is just that it was allowed to be monopolised by Telstra for so long, and that's only because the government privatised it, and what's more, privatised it without breaking it up. SpaceX internet will be independent of the Aussie. That's why it's a problem. Like, that's what I mean. I would rather it be at least accountable to the government, like NBN Co is, or like Telstra was before it was privatised, than have it be private. Because every time any public service or infrastructure in this country has been privatised, literally every time, it has got worse. It's without fail. Like, I don't buy into the whole the private sector will improve things, because it never has in my entire experience of being alive, not once. British Rail is another brilliant example. What a clusterfuck that turned out to be. So, I really don't believe in the invisible hand of the free market fixing our internet problems. If anything, I expect it to make it worse. I expect it to become like it is in the US. What was really needed to fix our internet problems was either for Telstra to not be sold, or for Telstra to be broken up before it was sold, or for the government to step in earlier. So basically what we've done with NBN Co is the government's built an entire second national network around the existing Telstra network, and it's nominally under government control. The problem I can see coming is that in another 10 or 20 years, maybe less, the government's going to say, oh, this is costing us too much, let's just sell it off. And they're going to do the exact same thing they did with Telstra. But yeah, I have no real faith in anyone that comes in with a grand plan to save things and make things better, because 9 times out of 10, they're looking to make money out of it. They're not actually looking to fix the problem. They're just looking to alter the problem in a way that's favourable to them. Probably help if I armed my plane before starting the engines, hey?
Перезарядка по плану.
Oh, Lagnut, you have no idea. Like, I know it happens everywhere. I know everyone's politicians are idiots, but Australia is a special case. Like, I just don't know how they do it, but it's like a comedy of errors where every possible decision they make the worst possible choice. Like, it's not just there's a lack of planning, there is literally no planning. Or there's even planning which seems to be counter to all logic. It's really something. And again, this comes back to what I was saying about the roads in Sydney, yesterday I think it was. Like, they think that the best way to solve the problem of road traffic in Sydney is to just build more roads. So then more people will be driving on them. Because, like, this is what happens when you build a highway, right? You go, oh, we'll alleviate the traffic problem by building a highway. So you destroy several neighborhoods that you have to run the highway through. Like, you irreversibly destroy a community to build a new road. And within a couple of years, the new road encourages more people to drive on it, and then it's gridlocked again. Like, you haven't fixed the problem, you've just either made it worse or moved it. Like, urban planning in Western countries in general is a fucking joke. An absolute fucking joke. They have no clue what they're doing. It's so obviously done for the benefit of, shall we say, certain business people who may or may not be major donation contributors to whoever's in power at the time. Sydney's only fixed traffic is either demolish the city and start over or ban cars. Yeah, pretty much. They did build a light rail, like a monorail, in the centre of Sydney, which didn't really help because monorails are pretty much a meme. Like, good old-fashioned heavy rail is what you need for something like Sydney. Just build more actual proper rail lines, have more buses running to the train stations, but no, why would you do that when you can just build more roads? And the fact that the city sprawls so much is another problem, like, because everyone's obsessed with building a new home, like this whole McMansion thing, everyone wants to build a new home out in the suburbs, so they reclaim a piece of swampland or something, or a piece of farmland, and they build this little network of cul-de-sacs with copy-paste houses on them. The houses are far bigger than what they need to be. They're priced way over really any reasonable price point, but people buy them anyway because they're not buying a house, they're buying a dream. A very unrealistic one. And you end up with an even more convoluted transport network, so the public transport system can't deal with it. People say, oh well, that's why public transport is shit, we need more roads to drive on, and it just feeds back into itself. Like, if you guys are watching me play Stalker, and hearing me, like, wax poetic about the way Pripyat's laid out, this is why. That's how you lay out a city. Like, it might not look pretty to people that want to live in a McMansion, but that's how you plan a fucking city. That's efficiency. Which is not a word you get to use very often when referring to anything the Soviets did, but it's a good way to design things. It wouldn't work here, just because it's too alien. When they tried to do a lot of things like that here after the war, you know, they brought out a lot of European public housing projects and so on. They did it very poorly. They built them in areas without the necessary services, so, like, again, going back to Soviet city planning, you know, you would have a certain number of schools, a certain number of grocery stores, a certain number of entertainment complexes within a certain radius of a housing block. Well, they didn't do that here. They just built these housing blocks out in suburban Sydney and thought that they could look after themselves. There was one, I can't remember the name of the suburb now, but quite famously was built in, like, southwestern Sydney on reclaimed farmland, like, way out from the city. Because Sydney sprawls basically all the way to the mountains now. And it was intended to be the housing district for auto workers, for these new factories that car manufacturers were going to build. Well, this was right before car manufacturing in this country took a dive, so the factories never got built. The manufacturers backed out of the deal completely after the area had been built, so you had all this housing commission expenditure on this new suburb that had basically no services, was on the wrong side of a major highway from any services at all, so then they had to figure out how to get people across there safely, spend even more money on pedestrian footbridges and shit. The transport to the suburb was shit because they were expected not to have to go very far to work. And because it was housing commission, they just said, oh fuck it, if it's not going to be worker housing, we'll just use it as, you know, standard public housing to try and clear the enormous wait list for public housing in this country, particularly in Sydney. And within a couple of years they had a sink district that was full of social problems, enormous unemployment rate, really high crime. Like, I wonder how that happened. Is Sydney's light rail like London's where it's just stupid useless? So, I mean, I haven't been to London since 1996 or 7, so I don't really know what they've done there other than what they already had while I was there. Like, the underground was, you know, sufficient. I don't know what they've got for light rail on the surface now because it's probably totally different. But yeah, like, Sydney has this little monorail that basically goes around Darling Harbour and the CBD, and that's about it. It has trams, which get in the way of traffic, and again are really low, like, this is the problem with trams and monorails and things. They're low volume. They're really low volume. They're, like, marginally better than a bus. So, and you put that much more expenditure into them than a bus, you could buy that many new buses or run a certain bus route that many more times per day for what it costs to run a tram line or any sort of light rail through a city. And then you're not you know, blocking up traffic as much. It's just, there's no real reason to do it unless there's profit involved somewhere, and then it starts making sense. Not for the public, but for the person that's actually getting the contract to develop it. And again, coming back to the example of Newcastle, which is where I used to live here, they spent tens and tens of millions of dollars on this new light rail network, which has only just gone operational, and which barely anyone uses. And this is the thing as well. Like, while the heavy rail was there, it was good because you could get a train straight into Newcastle, but at the same time, yeah, it took up a rail corridor, but there wasn't much use for that space anyway. Now, you've got to change from the heavy rail to the light rail and or a bus on the west side of town. And this is not like, Newcastle's not a huge city. At this point, there's so many transport interchanges that you have to do, it's quicker to just fucking walk. Whereas on the old heavy rail, you could just get the train straight in. You didn't need to change trains, right? So, you've also then got the maintenance complications of dealing with a tram line that runs through the main street of a major city. You've got the traffic problems with that, and Newcastle's always had parking problems. There's never been enough parking on any of the main streets, and there's not enough off-street parking. So now it's even worse, because they're essentially down to one lane in either direction, and even less parking than they already had. So not only have they managed to make the public transport in Newcastle even less efficient than it already was, but they've also managed to negatively impact private transport. And if you're going to do that, you have to actually, like, you can't negatively impact private transport and then expect people to use public transport if it's not up to the job. It's a trade. You have to, you know, actually improve one or the other. You can't just make both worse and expect people to use a tram because it's shiny and new. But there was a big scandal when that happened about money changing hands in brown paper bags. So it's pretty easy to see how that project came to fruition. And then, of course, you have a lot of people who are like, oh, it's, you know, we're regenerating the city, it's great to have all this new growth, and, like, not really, because what's happening is they've got all these new luxury apartment blocks going up along the waterfront. They're either vacant, because investors buy them and don't rent them out, which is the same problem every major city in the world has. London has it really badly, so does Sydney. Or there is actually someone living there, but they're typically someone who works in an office or they work in Sydney, so they don't really spend a whole lot of money on the local economy. And when they do, it's not the stuff that, you know, is really worthwhile supporting. So you have all these little fancy coffee shops and stuff that pop up for 6 months and then disappear, because that's where all these wealthy sorts from the waterfront go. But it rubs me up the wrong way, it really does. And then they have the hide to complain about, oh, it's too noisy to bring, you know, like the V8 supercars to Newcastle, or it's too noisy for the pubs to stay open after 10 PM. Like, fuck off. You move to a working class town, you live on the former site of a major dockyard. This is still the largest coal harbour in the southern hemisphere, possibly the world, actually. I think it might still be the largest in the world. Like, and you're complaining that the pub down the road is a bit too noisy when they leave music on at night. Like, fuck off. Gentrification's a hell of a thing, man. And it's people from Sydney, but also a lot from Melbourne, and I feel safe saying this on stream because I don't think I know anyone directly from Victoria that would be offended by this, but people from Melbourne are just obnoxious. They think that being from Melbourne is like, it grants them, it makes them the most cultured people on earth. They think they're better than everyone else because they come from Melbourne, because, you know, reasons, I guess. Because there's lots of arty people in Melbourne, so they're, you know, it's so great. And, oh, well, I'm from Melbourne, and, well, in Melbourne, we, like, go back there. And, I mean, we have a nickname for people from Melbourne and Victoria in general in New South Wales, which the implications of which might be slightly TOS, but yeah, I mean, they're not very well appreciated here because of their behaviour. They come up here and they complain about things and want us to change our lifestyle to suit them, and then they never go back to Victoria. Can't get rid of them. Oh, hello. What the f... That was a missile, right? Who the fuck was that aimed at? Oh, there's a guy down there. Who's he? Friendly, probably. Yeah, he's friendly. Then who the fuck shot at him? One went for his counter. Both went for his countermeasures. God damn it! Everything is homing on his fucking flares. There we go. Looking good. Splash. Hornet. Sort the music out in just a moment. Probably going to drive that into the ground. Yeah, he already did. I think he just flared, so that's probably going to miss.
Переведи в Кеплер. 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 Предельная перегрузка. Предельный угол атаки. Предельная перегрузка. Пожар левого двигателя. Пожар правого двигателя. Откат ТРЗ.
Point blank 120.
Управляй ручной.
Did I get him?
Откат гидравлики.
And as you can see, Munge memes me in Steam. He doesn't just do it on stream. I got him. That's disappointing.
Перезарядка по плану. Прием.
we're 1 for 1 again at the moment. I'm honestly surprised none of them hit him. Also, Jeff, regarding the space-based internet thing, brush me up on that. Is that just satellite internet? Because if that is basically worse than dial-up. So my parents are on satellite. You have about a 7-second minimum latency time for anything, just because of the distance that the signal has to travel. It's what, like 40... No, it's not. It's 38,000 kilometers, I think, both ways. I think it's 42 from the actual center of the Earth, but it's like 38,000 kilometers distance each way. So you get like a 7-second delay on anything. So, I mean, playing a game with 10 seconds delay, no, that ain't gonna happen. Skype calls, pretty difficult. Anything that's sensitive to latency, not gonna work. So, what we really needed was for... we needed the NBN to happen sooner, and we needed it to be a bit better than it ended up being, and that's purely because a certain political party with a history of doing shit like this, who may or may not currently be in power, again, somehow, decided that we didn't actually need modern internet in this country. In their opinion, copper was just fine, and also it was a mistake to develop agriculture. Basically, this is their viewpoint on human advancement, and so they thought that they could cut costs on the NBN and just either scupper the whole thing and then have their mates come and do it privately, which was the goal of the whole, you know, which is their goal anyway, is to privatize the fuck out of everything and turn this place into America's 51st state. Or they'd at least damage it enough that it would turn people against it, and that's what they managed to do. They managed to cut enough off of it by haggling and blocking things going through Parliament that what we ended up getting was so much worse than what was planned and what we should have got. There was mismanagement from Labour as well with it, as with various other things, but it was generally the Liberals that caused it to be what it is now. Yeah, so, like, things like fibre to the home, why would you need fibre to the, to the home? Why would you need fibre to the premises when you can just do, fibre to the nearest fucking telephone exchange, or fibre to the end of the street, and use the same shitty fucking 100-year-old copper that's rotting in the ground, that is the cause of our shitty internet in the first place, use that to people's homes. So there's a lot of issues with it still, just because of cost cutting by the Liberals, because they would have preferred the whole thing be private instead of a government venture. SpaceX internet's at 1,500 kilometers, so it's in a low Earth orbit, in other words, which means the orbit's gonna, either you need constant corrections to the orbit, which I'd like to know how they plan on fueling, or you're going to need to launch one of these regularly, because the orbit's going to decay over the course of probably, what, a couple weeks, maybe a couple months? I don't know, I can't do the maths. But yeah, 1,500 kilometers is a low Earth orbit, I'm pretty sure. Even if you put them a little further out where they're in a stable orbit, but it's not geostationary, it's still enough of a delay to be significant. I really don't think it would be an improvement. And again, it becomes a monopoly. Because even if you consider, like, this is the way that Telstra did things, right? Was that Telstra owned the infrastructure, and then they would rent it out to third parties. So, you know, you had other ISPs that you could use, but they were on Telstra's network, so at the end of the day, Telstra dictated what they were and weren't allowed to do, and they dictated the price point. So the reason Australia went so long with download quotas, like download limits on data usage, is because Telstra basically told everyone else, no, this is only what we're going to give you. You have to work within these limits. So, and like, for instance, Optus started building another network around Telstra. This is back in the 90s when my dad was still working in the field. He worked for Nortel. And then Vodafone were doing the same as well, but because Telstra was the former government-owned national carrier, there was no way to compete. Like, Optus's network still has massive holes in it, you know, 20, 30 years later, and Vodafone's is a joke. Like, until the NBN was built, Telstra had the only viable national network, because it was the former government body, you know, Telecom Australia, that's where Telstra comes from. So, even if you have SpaceX launching these satellites and saying, oh, well, you know, we're not providing the service, we're just providing the hardware, I guarantee you the same thing will happen. They'll start dictating what can and can't be done and what the price point is, and it's going to become a major problem, just like it was here with Telstra. I mean, here's the thing, I don't particularly trust the government, but I trust private entities even less. So I am extremely skeptical of any private sector solution to any problem, because in my experience, like I said, they're not solutions, they're just rebrandings of the problem, or an even bigger problem in disguise. And then what happens? We spend even more public money on fixing the private problem, something that Australia does constantly. Hall effect electric thrusters, orbit will be stable for about a month. Yeah, I mean, even then, that's still something that is, at the end of the day, it's still consumable, and we're just, worse than that, arguably, we're adding to the amount of fucking junk sitting in orbit around the planet. Like, I'm of the opinion that at this point, unless it is absolutely direly necessary and it's something we cannot do from Earth any other way, we shouldn't be launching anything else up into orbit. Or if we do, we should damn well make sure every single fucking part of it comes back down. I mean, I guess they will to a degree, but you've still got all the shrouding and stuff off the delivery rocket. I know that SpaceX has recoverable rockets, and the things will burn up on re-entry. The satellites will burn up on re-entry, but I can't picture them putting something up there without leaving at least some kind of debris. And that's the other issue as well. Even if you've got a system that deploys a satellite up at that altitude with no debris and everything's, it's a closed system, everything comes back to Earth, nothing is left in space, that still leaves you with the problem that you're going to have to contend with everything that is up there. And what do you do when one of these gets hit by a piece of debris? What do you do if something goes wrong? Like, it is so much more expensive, even with reusable rockets and things like that, it is so much more expensive to have to make even a minor repair in orbit than it is to dig something up and fix it here. Or even go, you know, send a submersible underwater to fix it. It's just the enormous cost escalation. You can tell that this idea was cooked up by somebody that has no concept of what money means in the real world, because they just have so much of it, it may as well be an infinite amount. And this is one of the big issues I take with these kinds of Silicon Valley entrepreneurs, is they have no concept of what real life is actually like, because they've never actually experienced it. Or if they have, it was so long ago, they have no recollection, like their current status has tinged their memory. Like, these people don't use public transport, so they don't realise that that's the only way you're going to fix transportation problems. They're not used to having to deal with bad infrastructure because they live somewhere that has the best infrastructure available, or they just put in their own stuff privately to get around the shitty public stuff. Like, they don't understand the economic concerns of certain systems because they have infinite money, or they can get someone else to foot the bill for it. Make it difficult to observe the sky because of it. Exactly! Another problem. Like, there's just so many problems with this. It's like every time I hear some idea come out about how we're going to fix X problem, and it's from somebody from that kind of background, it's just so absurdly unrealistic. I have to check I'm not reading The Onion. Like, it's just absurd. And you can tell they really have no concept of what they're talking about. Okay, we've got one guy here that wasn't on radar. He's running. We've got a second coming hot who's just vanished. Probably dropped into a valley. I think they're ultimately, like, I have so many problems with things like that, as you can probably tell, but I think my biggest one is just that it's private sector. I do not trust the private sector as far as I can fucking throw it. If it was government funded, I'd still think it was probably a really dumb idea and they'd have better ways of doing it, but hey, at least it's government funded, so there's some kind of oversight. And if it fucks up, then somebody will be held accountable for it. Also, I don't know if any of you guys have heard of this blog, but there's a blog that I read from time to time. I haven't checked it in a while, actually. I should probably go catch up on it. The Worst Things for Sale. If you ever want to get some perspective as to just how fucked we are as a society and how absurdly wasteful we are of the resources we have, that's a good place to go and see. Like, the kinds of just idiotic shit that people try and sell, and some people actually buy, is astounding. And we're at an age now with things like computer algorithms and all this time and energy and R&D sunk into things like marketing and advertising. We're at a point now where people will use an algorithm to pick out two things people like that are seemingly totally unrelated and just smush them together because someone somewhere will buy it. And they will actually expend resources that could have been used to do literally anything else on that. It's pretty astounding. It ranges from stuff that you can kind of understand, like things that are mildly like a mild improvement on something that already exists that you don't really need, but some people are so lazy, I guess, good for them, to things that just make no sense to anybody. Like, just none. How did a human mind, or more likely an algorithm, spit this out and get this past a marketing development committee? Like, how? I don't know if this guy sees me. I hope he doesn't. Most interested in how SpaceX is going to export a cell phased array antennas outside the US for this sort of thing. Yeah, they're That is an interesting question. Why can I not pick this guy up? Hello, vertical scan. He's below the ridge of this hill, I think. He's got me on SA, that's why he's tracking towards me. Whoever it is up my one is illuminating me for him. That's a friend, I think. Yeah, that's a friend. That's not him. Oh, dude! Dude! Get out of my fucking... Oh my god. There we go. Did he get splashed? I don't fucking know. Oh, was that Wiggles? Yeah, I think that was Wiggles. God damn it, dude. Oh well. We only wasted 2 missiles there. We'll go for someone else. Freeze.
Переведи Хеплер. Переведи Хеплер. Переведи Хеплер. Переведи Хеплер. Переведи Хеплер.
Getting a bit low on missiles here. Right, I'm gonna turn cold and deal with the close guy. Oh, that was a big freeze. Did I get kicked? I think I did. Integrity check, I bet you. Yep. I probably would have got that guy too. So I got too close to Kutaisi, and it tripped that integrity check. Again, this texture, I don't know why it's doing that, but every time I get near Kutaisi airbase, that goes and kicks me from the server. And I'm gonna have to restart my fucking game now. Not sure if I like or absolutely hate it. Yeah, the main reason I play there is because it's the only populated PvP server 90% of the time when I'm on. Sometimes Blue Flag's populated, but I don't really like playing on Blue Flag very much just because of the way they've got everything set up. And Growling Side 1 is as convenient in that no one really talks anyway, so I don't need to be on SRS, I don't need to be on Discord, I can just do my own thing. But there's not really a lot in the way of tactics to be learned there. It's pretty much just both sides flying at each other head-on with active missiles. So it gives me some practice in avoiding missiles and getting shots on people, but other than that, I don't know. We'll get DCS going again and jump back in, I guess. Or we'll see what other servers are up, maybe. I really want to do some more Mirage dogfighting, but I don't think anyone's going to be on just dogfight this time of day. Usually to be about sort of 8 to 10 hours from now you see that server start filling up when I'm asleep, so... Oh well. It's really frustrating. Again, like I said, anytime my DCS dies, either because of an integrity check or because my internet drops, it's right as I'm firing on someone, or landing or taking off. Every time, without fail. But if I'd realised how close I was getting to Kutaisi, I would have turned around anyway, because that was about to bring me inside the range of their SAMs, and I would have probably died very shortly after killing that guy. Oh, it's just frustrating. So frustrating. Oh, if I can learn to spell. There's a guy on the high ping Just Dogfight server. I'll probably get kicked from that. Let's see if Cold War's got anyone. No. Shut my computer off. Should have done some Mirages earlier. Yeah, man. I probably should have got on earlier. I would have definitely been down to some Mirage, but... Oh well. I'll have to catch you next time that you're on, I think. I might just see if I can get in here without getting ping kicked, and if I can, I'll try and dunk on this guy. Although I've noticed that a lot of people are quite shy to go to the guns only area. I wonder why that might be. I'm pretty confident I would have got the kill on that guy though. His friend probably would have bagged me right afterwards if the SAMs didn't, but I reckon I would have got him. So that would have made me, what, 3-1? I definitely got 2-1, but that would have made me 3-1. 4-1 if a certain Wiggles hadn't jumped in from behind me and sniped one of my kills. Oh, jeez. Not only that, but I nearly shot him because my vertical scan kept going on him instead of the other guy, because he was between the two of us. Connect by IP. Yeah, that's what I've been doing, but occasionally it does still trip after I've been in for a minute or two. I'm not sure why. It's only done it once or twice, but it's not 100% of the time. Spam flares Mirage is killer in Just Dogfight Air. I've kind of had mixed success. Sometimes I've done really well with the magics. Other time they've locked the exact opposite thing of what I've wanted them to, or the guy I've shot at has just started corkscrewing away from them. So scrubbing 9Xs is hell though. Yeah, exactly. 73s can be difficult as well, although they tend to dive on the first flare they see, which is kind of a saving grace. So he is and MiG-29 blue. I really want to do guns. And the MiG-29 in guns would actually be a pretty decent opponent, but we'll go with this. Please load faster. Is he gonna respawn? What's going on here? A lot of the time as well, when I come on Just Dogfight lately, people just quit. They'll either quit or they'll go somewhere else, like to another slot, or they'll just die and not respawn. I don't understand the logic behind that. I don't know why you would come on the Just Dogfight server if you don't want to just fucking dogfight, but apparently there are people that do that. I guess they just come on to shoot the AI or something. It's very bizarre. See, I don't know if this guy's respawned. It's still in the air slot, so he hasn't switched to another area, but... I don't know where he is. Okay. So he swapped Let's see, select role. What's he on? He's on my team. He's switched to red. He's gone 1v1 F14, right. Am I in the right slot? Should be. Blue to... The fuck is this guy doing? Bro! Don't come on Just Dogfight if you don't want to just fucking dogfight. Holy shit. What slot's he in? Air F15 CB7. Right, we'll go Air, Mirage. This fucking guy. I don't even think he's spawning in. I think he's sitting on the role selection screen just waiting to see what I pick and then picking something else. Area 15. So I should be seeing him by now. I don't think he spawned in. He wants his 10 minutes of DCS YouTuber fame? I doubt it. I just don't understand. Like, why come on this server if you're not gonna fucking fight? He's not even gonna reply. Bless him. I think that's the friendly 29 off my nose. Yep, that's the AI 29, which is on my team. Well, let's spawn ourselves some F-15s and then go land, and then I'll figure out something to do from there, I guess. flare. It was too close, I think. Nope, got him. Really? I think it's something to do with the F-15, maybe. Who knows? Alright, well, DCS is clearly going to be a pain in the ass tonight. So I might switch over to Tarkov, I think. Sleep time for me. See you later. Catch you later, Jeff. Next time you're on, I think we need to do some Mirage dogfighting, because that will be a ton of fun. I'm gonna try and untangle myself here. Got an absolute rat's nest of cables down here I don't want to get hooked up in. Yeah, it keeps telling me that texture's tainted. I don't know why. It's not a modded texture. It shouldn't have been affected by anything. And it only tells me that at certain times. I guess there's something... either something to do with the F-15, a certain F-15 skin maybe, or Kutaisi, because that's where it triggers. F-15s and Kutaisi. But I can fly the F-15 as long as I'm not near Kutaisi with no problems. It's bizarre. The actual texture it cites is an afterburner texture from the temp textures folder. So I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's one maybe that is only on a particular server or something, but it is a pain to deal with. Because as you can see, it disrupts my DCS experience very badly. Alright. Got a couple other games I'll have to play on stream. Not now, but at some point. I want to play or replay Divine Cybermancy. That was such a fun game. A very French game. An incredibly French game. But a lot of fun. Got to do a quick update. Shouldn't take long. 530's a godlike. Yeah, the 530 seems pretty good. I haven't used it very much, but it does seem really solid. Kind of short range, but when you're within that range, oh my god, they're not getting away from it. Just when I think the Tomcat's a bird for me, I see that sweet F-16 bubble cockpit. See, the thing about bubble cockpits like that is, they're great for visibility, but because there's absolutely nothing above the sort of side rails and the dash, if you're trying to track a target, I mean, I guess in the real aircraft this isn't an issue because you can, you physically know where your head is pointed in relation to how you're sitting. But with the tracker in particular, I feel like it's very easy to lose track of exactly where you're looking related to your aircraft if you haven't got something to reference off of, like a canopy bow or, like the little overhangy bits on the canopy hinge on the Mirage or the MiG-21's periscope. That meme source game with a cult following. Oh, it was so fun when I played through that the first time because we broke the game so badly. A friend of mine took offense to this guy that we were supposed to do as like a side quest for, and found this guy had like bin bags and blood in his bathtub and assumed this guy was like some sort of mass murderer, so he killed him. It turns out that guy was actually like a really important support dude for our faction, and we needed him to finish that mission the way it was supposed to be finished. So we kind of might have started a civil war over that. And then at the end of that mission, when we somehow blundered our way through it without getting killed, and we were busy explaining ourselves to the boss man who came to debrief us, I may have been trying to break a teacup or something on a table with my katana, and I may have missed, and I may have hit him in the face instead. Like, totally an accident. Legitimately totally an accident. Hit this guy in the face. Net result is that we kind of ended up fighting, like, everybody. We did finish the game, but it was not the ending that we expected, or the one we particularly wanted. It was funny though, it was a lot of fun. I think I might do a quick scav raid just to get some equipment, like get another rifle. When are they going to release the EFT Zone expansion? Who fucking knows? I don't really track, like, I used to track the development of games I played years and years ago, but I've had enough disappointments that I just don't care anymore. I don't bother. Like, you may have noticed Pommel asked me about something to do with the DCS patch cycle. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with DCS development. Like, I haven't got a clue. I don't really want to know, to be honest. Oh, wrong time. There we go. Release Stalker with the EFT engine. Oh my god, that would... I feel like that would break in hilarious ways. I mean, as it stands right now in EFT, you can't walk in ankle-deep water because water is apparently some sort of hell liquid that projects an invisible, like a shield around itself that you cannot permeate. It's impermeable. So you literally can't walk in ankle-deep water because there's invisible walls, because Battle State have decided that they're too lazy to do anything about that. Like, I get that they don't want people swimming for 3 hours out to some inaccessible island where they can sit with their sniper rifle and wreck everyone, but it's not hard. Just make people drown if they're in deep water for more than 30 seconds or something. Like, it really isn't hard. It really isn't. I mean, at least do what Halo 1 did and have the invisible wall far enough out in the water that you have to be supremely patient and or supremely bored to find it. Not even ED knows about DCS development? Oh god, yeah. I mean, the list of shit they're working on right now, or allegedly working on, like, that's an entire other game's worth of development right there. Fix the missiles, fix the spotting, fix some of the other arcane bullshit that hasn't been touched since Lock On came out. Like, it's just such a mess. I understand that they want to put out new modules and sort of keep a steady cash flow going with that, but it's not sustainable because as time goes on anyway, the base game is broken to hell and back, so it's going to cost a lot to eventually fix that. Every time they do fix something, it's going to break every single module because they haven't, you know, they've got all these overhauls that they need to make that haven't been done since Lock On came out, but a lot of them are game breaking. So every single module needs more time and money put into it to bring it back up to a workable standard. So rather than releasing even more, where you get quick sales and then it turns into a money sink because you've got to put developers on it every time you patch the game, why not just put a moratorium on new... I know this is going to piss people off, but put a moratorium on new ED modules. Third party, go for your life. But ED, no more modules. Fix the game. Fix the most important things. Missiles, spotting, arcane lock-on bugs. Probably the biggest three, right? And performance, which kind of comes under the ladder. Then you can work on the more minor quality of life stuff, and then you can start releasing more modules. Like, yes, I really want an MI-24. I really want an F-16. God, do I want a Phantom. But please finish the other shit first. Like, having missiles that work properly would be better to me than having any of those. Of course, this is coming from the same man who very recently said, man, I wish ED would release an MI2 as a free helicopter module. But, I mean, technically someone else could do that. You don't really need ED to do it. I only say that because they reabsorb Belsimtech, and Belsimtech make good helicopters. Me want new plane. Yeah, exactly. Grug has a very short attention span, apparently. Alright, where have I spawned? I hate how it doesn't, like... Oh, I'm up here, wow. I didn't know you could even spawn up here. I hate how it doesn't remember what your movement speed's set at after you sprint, so the moment you sprint it just maxes it back out. Like, I want to be able to alternate easily between sort of a tactical walking pace, like a patrol pace, and short dashes of speed. But no, because Tarkov. Like, I'll be dead straight with you guys. I did want to play this today, but I'd much rather be playing DCS. I just cannot be bothered dealing with restarting the game every 10 minutes because of that stupid fucking texture. So, I might, depending when I go to bed tonight, / tomorrow, I might see if I can jump on Cold War later, since I don't seem to have the problem there. I think whatever texture it is related to the modern aircraft. Or I'll get on Just Dogfight when there's people on there who actually want to just dogfight. I can't believe that. Like I've said before, I don't understand why people get on that server if they don't want to actually dogfight, but this is like a whole other level. Because normally it's, you know, they won't go to the guns area, they just want to hang around the missiles area. Or they'll sit in the 1v1 slots and they don't want to actually do anything other than 1v1 the same guy over and over again. Never know what speed to walk at in Tarkov. I mean, to be honest, I'm probably... This comes back to something I've said on stream before when I was playing Tarkov. In Tarkov, because I have this damn timer up in the top right corner, I rush. Like, it might be an hour, but in my mind, that's like, hey, clock's ticking, motherfucker. Better hurry up. And so I'm just really careless. I'm running around without checking my environment. I'm shoveling way more loot than I should be into my pockets. Let's go check the island out. Yeah, and I get killed for it. Whereas if you guys ever see me play DayZ, which, you know, I refuse to do until the game actually works. Okay, so, backstory. The last time I attempted to play DayZ on stream is because I was having problems with DCS, so I was already in a bad mood. I go to play DayZ, only to find that it has unbound every single control, and I can't rebind them because the fucking control binding menu has disappeared. So, yeah, that's why I don't play DayZ. But when I did play it, if you go to like my YouTube, which is my sort of long-term VOD storage, and look at some of my videos playing it there, generally speaking, especially when I'm playing alone, so I'm not having to keep pace with other people, you'll notice that I tend to move very slowly, and if I hear shots nearby, I will spend up to an hour lying in ambush waiting for a player to walk in front of me. So, like, the speed I'm kind of comfortable at moving, if this was, you know, if I had all the time in the world to play here and this was open world like Stalker or something, this is about the speed I'd be moving. This is the speed that I tend to want to move, because if you move too fast, you won't see things. You're making noise, you're very visible, you know, it's easy to see something that's moving at high speed. Whereas the slower you move, the better you can see, the less obvious you are to other people, and, you know, the better or the easier it is to respond to a threat, because you can already look ahead and plan ahead, right, that's cover I'll go to if I take contact, that's the next place I'll go to, that's somewhere I should aim for. Whereas if you're running, you're just like, oh, that was good cover, I'm already past it. And, I mean, I'm pretty sure that I can say this without any issues, but this is about the speed that we were trained to patrol at, so that's what I stick with. When I was in the reserves, we were still, we were just transitioning to the new doctrine, which They may have changed it again, but it was sort of modernizing it towards what the Americans use, particularly the US Marines. So, you know, like I think it was a squad of about 10 or so, and you had fire teams of 2 or 3. No. Fire teams of 4, I think it was, and then like sub teams of 2 or 3 or some shit like that. So it was, you know, your sort of modern modular squad layout, or for us a section. But when I was actually doing my training, we were still very much using Vietnam doctrine, which in turn was modernized from our World War II doctrine. So that was from memory, a 9-man section. You know, you had your 2 scouts, and your section commander, and that was your command group. Then you had your machine gunner and your assistant gunner, and then the 2IC, that was your gun group, and then you had everyone else was the rifle group. And we still moved, you know, slowly with rifle at the hip, and the muzzle following where our eyes were looking. Like, if you go back and find archive footage of British and Australian forces fighting in the jungle in World War II, same shit. That's exactly how we were trained to do things. Which was really interesting as well, because you could tell the people that played a lot of Call of Duty or something right away, because they looked really confused. Really, really confused when they learnt that you don't sprint around from tree to tree, or, you know, or crouch walk around. It was pretty funny. Feel more scared in Tarkov than any other shooter. For me, yeah, kind of. I mean, probably DayZ, I'm a little more on edge, because you do have the open world, so you actually have a lot more places that you can take contact from, and you're a lot less likely to have any idea where the shots came from unless you actually see them. And then as well, you've got the additional issue in DayZ of the zombies, or at least you did. I don't know if the zombies are a thing anymore. They were certainly not in-game last time I played. Or no, they were. Sorry. They removed them a few times when I was playing and put them back in, but they're not the threat they used to be. You used to fire one shot in a city and like 50,000 zombies would appear running through walls and you would die. But they're an added problem, so you need to weigh up whether you want to go loud and risk getting mobbed by zombies, or if you want to just bypass something, or... As well as that, if you're dealing with zombies, another player might hear that and get attracted to it. So DayZ really does put me on edge a bit more than Tarkov does, but Tarkov can be pretty fucking scary. It's the presence of enemy players that makes me want to slow down. I run around a lot in single-player games. Yeah, I think everyone does, to be honest. Like, if you watch me play Stalker, for instance, I usually try and... Partly because immersion, because I'm one of those weirdos, and also because just it makes the game easier for me to watch back later. Horrible narcissist, watch my own gameplay. Actually, it's just to kind of, you know, I like having things I can go back and watch later, so I can, you know, remember. Oh yeah, that was fun when I played this. Oh, maybe I should go check that out again, stuff like that. But anyway, to get back to my original point, in Stalker, I tend to try and walk around about this pace. So the problem with that is I don't want to be holding my shift key down. It makes my hands sore. So the lazier I get, you can tell I start jogging around or I start sprinting around, and then it all just goes out the window from there. I pick up the pace a lot. I speed up when I get frustrated or if there's a timer or something like that, but I do try and play a bit slower. Another example is the 345th. So a lot of the time the 345th will move at a jogging pace. They will clear buildings at a jogging pace. You cannot clear a fucking building at a jog. It's just like, no. Just no. And I understand why they do it. It's because a lot of people in the 345th have incredibly short attention spans. Like, they'll start whining their board if they go more than 30 seconds without being shot at or shooting at something. So I understand where mission makers and leadership are coming from when they do make us use that kind of pacing, but it also means that we half-ass things. And this is why the 345th has so many bad habits, like just going to ground when shot at and not moving, or rushing through an area without clearing it properly and then getting shot in the back, or trying to tend to wounded while they're still being shot at by a guy right in front of them, which even I've done a couple times. Yeah, like, it just fucks with your sense of pacing, whereas if you watch me, when I've got my own squad or something playing with the 345th, and I'm not dictated by someone else's pacing. This happened in one of Gilson's Chechnya missions when we were clearing a town. I will tell them to walk, and I'll be having them watch every fucking alleyway as they pass it, because, you know, running past an alleyway is a great way to get shot. Don't know the maps, the randomness of DayZ feels present in this game. Yeah, I don't know the maps real well. Some I know better than others. But yeah, it's not quite as random for me in this as it is in DayZ, I gotta say. And I've had so many experiences in DayZ that were legitimately fucking creepy that kind of weighs on me as well. I guess it's just because I played it more. Hello. Oh, I've already got body armor. Yeah, mask. If I had more space, I would have actually taken it, to be honest, but it's probably not worth that much. Ah, yes, the good old, you can't climb the fucking ladder to get on the roof, even though scavs spawn up there. That's what shits me about this game. I think that is the thing that pains me the most about this game, if I can get my words out for once. There's so many areas that should be accessible but aren't, and you always think, oh yeah, I can get up there, and you get there and you can't. And by the time you get there and discover that, someone's shooting at you. So you die. That really annoys me. And the invisible walls around the water, it's the same thing. They just arbitrarily decide, no, you can't go on the roof, or no, you can't wade through this ankle-deep water, you have to go around it. It's frustrating, especially coming from someone who plays armor quite a lot, with a group that uses enhanced movement. I'm like, I can't play armor now without enhanced movement. I need it. It's that important. But, you know, with that, if I see something and it's literally within my arm's reach, I can vault it. I can climb over fences, I can jump over low walls, I can climb up on top of vehicles, I can boost off of a friend, climb up onto them and then onto, or over a wall or something. And then you get to this game, which is, you know, supposed to be this brand new, high quality, high production value game, and I can't clear a fucking chest high wall or walk through shallow water. Like, what the fuck? And there's no consistency to it. There's ladders that you can climb, and then there's ladders that you can't climb, and there's no way to tell them apart until you get to them. And this color grading bullshit that happens when it's raining, that's the other thing that pisses me off. Like, I don't know about you, but the world doesn't turn, like, greyish-green for me when it starts raining. It looks like shit. It makes it harder to see things than it should be. I don't like it. I really do not like color grading, because 9 times out of 10, it's not tastefully used, or it's overdone. And this is something I saw a lot with source maps, like things like Gary's mod maps and that, or maps for Insurgency and Day Defeat and so on. A map maker would think they were really, like, good with art, and because they're, you know, it could be a really great map, but they think, oh, I'm an artist, I know what I'm doing, I'm going to apply some color grading to this, and you end up with a really nice map that looks like arse because the mapper thinks that they know what they're doing with regards to color, and it looks like some washed out brown fucking Call of Duty shithole, or, you know, it's green like you're playing Fallout 3. High production quality game with no enemies feels weird, man. Yeah, I know, right? The game itself is the enemy. This is a Russian game. The game itself is the enemy. Which is actually something I could really picture a Russian game developer saying unironically, to be dead honest. But see, unlike, well, I mean, scavs in this piss me off because I basically just have amazing aim and instant reflexes and metagame level knowledge. But you know, if you don't count the scabs, yeah, there's the only opposition in this is human players, and you might not even see a human player, or you know, you'll see them for about the 2 seconds it takes them to shoot you in the face. Whereas DayZ, you had a very obvious enemy. The zombies were like the titular enemy of the game. I'm gonna fucking just go aggro on this guy. I don't even care if the other guys come and try and kill me. I need some gear. But I want to do it quietly. Can I actually... Is this a one hit? No, it's not. I'm glad his aim is even worse than mine. What the fuck? Why can I not knife him? My knife ran out of ammo, apparently. What the fuck? A clean kill, I know, right? I can already hear the other ones getting aggro on me. That's just gonna be ammo for that fucking thing. Died so quickly you didn't feel a thing. I know, right? I gotta say, I assumed that Tarkov would belong to the school of, you know, 0.5 of a second knife slash across the face insta-kills anything. But no, surprisingly not. You really gotta go to town on them. That or I just attacked him from the wrong angle. Maybe you have to hold it down? I don't fucking know. This is a pretty good meme, either way. But yeah, to go back to what I was saying before that debacle happened, DayZ's titular enemy is the zombies, right? It's supposed to be a zombie survival game. But the way I played DayZ, the zombies were actually... They were an obstacle. They were like basically a rock blocking my way, right? They were an obstacle in the world that I had to navigate my way around. The real enemy was other players. Because in DayZ, I would actually go out looking for players. I would hunt along the, sort of about a kilometre or two inland from the coast, and just parallel the coast, and try and be the great filter for people heading north. Make sure the only ones that did get up there were the ones that actually had enough skill to deserve it. Oops. And that was fun. It made the game a lot more challenging. I kind of never understood people that played DayZ as everyone's friendly with each other, there's safe areas and traders, kind of zombie apocalypse simulator. I mean, actually, to be fair, I guess I can understand the logic behind it, but it wasn't for me. And... okay, whatever. And I never understood why people would bring that mentality to a server where everyone else was doing PvP stuff. Like, if you want to do roleplay, play on a roleplay server. Don't complain to me when you run along a road in the open next to fucking Cherno and get ambushed by people that actually know what they're doing. Zombies equal players. I tell you what, when the first influx of Call of Duty players to Arma 2 happened because of the DayZ mod, yeah, zombies equal players was a pretty accurate description of the situation, I'll tell you that. Holy fuck. Boy, was it accurate. There was one time, again in the mod, so very early on, there was one time I got a Cherno spawn, and there was a group of about 7 or 8 guys that I spawned right next to, and I could hear them talking, and I could see them running around looting buildings across the road. And I spawned in with the Winchester, so I already had, at the time, the best weapon in the game, and the most versatile weapon in the game, right? So, I basically waited until one of them got separated out from the group, killed him, waited for them to all come find his body and start looking for me, then picked them off again one by one as they thinned out. I ended up killing up all of them, and they were so mad. Oh, they were so fucking mad about that. It was great. It was actually one of my better playthroughs I ever had. I think I ended up surviving basically until a patch came out and they reset all the servers, so I don't think I died on that character. I ended up having like a suppressed fucking AK-74 with night vision and optics and all the other Gucci stuff up at the Northwest Airfield, just like looking for people to use it on. Yeah, the mod was a lot of fun back in the day. Like, oh, he doesn't know. He doesn't know. That was a player. I'm fucking certain that was a player. See, I want to shoot him, but he's probably wearing like fucking level 5 body armor or some bullshit. And I only have this shitty little semi-auto 9mm. God, do I want to kill him? The other problem is I don't know which way he went. And if I drop down there, he's going to see it and he's going to hear it. I suspect probably he was coming from my direction. So he's probably going this way. He might be heading for the admin block. I could loot these weapon cases, but A, he's probably already done it, and B, it'll make enough noise that he'll probably realise there's someone upstairs. But I'm pretty sure that was a human. Pretty sure that was not a scav. Careful around here. The only problem is as well that the scavs down in that yard have, again, bullshit reaction time and aimbots, so if I get too close to the windows they might start popping off at me, which will alert him that there's a player here. I'm gonna have to jump over this. There we go. But yeah, he was unaware. I reckon. Look out here. I reckon he's probably headed into the admin block. We'll just double check what the exits are again. He might be going to the gym exit if that's active. No, it's not. Okay. Dead scav down there by the looks of it. But I didn't hear a shot, so that guy was already dead when I got here. If I had a better weapon, I would have shot him right there. But I kind of hesitated because I got this thing. And by the time I decided I was going to try and pop him in the back of the head, he'd already jumped down. Is that him over there? Or is that like a fucking tree or a vending machine or something over in that window? No, I don't think that's him. Okay, he should be far enough away now that I can actually loot stuff without him hearing. Probably nothing in here to loot though, he's probably taken most of it already. Just make sure he hasn't gone out that way. That's a scav. Coming through this passageway, I think. I mean, that could have been a scav, but I don't think so. Just the way he moved kind of suggested human player to me, and he looked quite bulky. Too well equipped to be a scav. Checking this room. I don't think there's anything in here. But I'll have a look out the back. There we go. That's a scav, for sure. I think he may have just seen me. Don't know if I can even shoot through this window. Probably can. So I'll move. Right there. Okay, that was a scav. I'm gonna hurry this shit up. Get rid of that, because I need a drink more than I need food. Oh, fuck! Fuck. I didn't know. Bandage. Quickly finish what I was doing there. Good thing I have plenty of meds. Is that? No, that's locked. Is there anything in here? Maybe. Rubles. What I can do while I'm in here is patch up some more bits and pieces. I've got a bit of a limp, but at least I'm not moving at broken leg speed. I may as well fully heal up, to be honest. I got that many med kits at this point, like, it's not that big of a deal. Although, I should probably get out of this building. Won't use the painkillers just yet. What I will do is drink that, because I think my dude needs a drink pretty quick. I think one of those was the one I saw outside. I think. The only problem is now I can't aim real well while I'm walking, but oh well. Get rid of that. That could have been a scav, I guess. I don't think it was, though. I really don't think it was. Ooh, Vaseline. Yikes, we might be needing that soon. Did I just hear someone? Oh, that was me. Didn't realise there was barbed wire there. 24 minutes. Road to Customs and South Fence Passage. Where the fuck is the South Fence Passage? I think Road to Customs is, I think I know where that is. Not sure about this other place though. Let's see if we can spot any scabs out in the yard here. should probably start moving, go downstairs. I can't sprint anymore. Well, I could if I had some painkillers, I guess. Well, if I used them. Yeah, let's do that. Let's use our ibuprofen. Got it, may as well use it. There we go. Now we're Gucci. Back up to fucking fast movement speed. That. Ooh, hello. Hey, Marius. DCS was tilting me again, so we're playing some Escape from Early Access. I'll probably just... don't know if I should check this building. I might as well, to be honest. If that was a player in here, he's probably already moved on. Because with the amount of dead scavs around here, I'd say whoever was here before me had been here for quite a while before I arrived. Ooh. So, let's just head out the front here and then upstairs. I think I've only got about 20 minutes, so I'm going to have to make this quick. Sorry, I'm looking through my backed up files, but I don't think I can help you with creating an ammo type for Stalker. Ah, okay. Yeah, that's alright, dude. I'll figure it out one way or another, I guess. It's not a big deal. I'll get around to it eventually. It just kind of rubs me up the wrong way to see the KS-23 using 12 gauge ammo, not least because 12 gauge is really easy to find. Whereas, you know, 23mm shotgun ammunition is presumably not that common. Oh, a splint. Happy days. I don't know if that's actually going to fix my situation. Probably not. Fuck. What am I going to get rid of? I'll get rid of one of these Makarov mags. Since I can't really sprint without hurting myself, I'm going to have to really make sure I don't overstay my time here. This has already been looted. Yeah, that's locked. Is paper worth much? We'll drink our water and we'll take the paper instead. Probably not worth much, but you know, whatever. Oh, I missed a drawer. Ooh, a key. 315 key. Alright, you know what? We'll get rid of another Makarov mag. And as soon as I'm done with this drawer, we're gonna just leave. I found some pretty decent shit here. I don't want to lose it. Might just check this weapon crate here too. Get rid of that in favour of that, because I actually have an AK-74. I don't think I have an M4 at the moment. Wait, do I have an M4? No. I don't think so. Oh my god, stop complaining, dude. Does it actually take your health off to do that? I think it does. Like, it just gently ticks it down a little. Pretty sure Road to Customs is this way. Pretty sure. I hope it is. Okay, we found a fence. Here's the problem. Which fence is this? Is this the one? No, this probably isn't the one I want. Oh, I know where I... Fuck, okay, no, I need to go this way. This is the same place I ran out of my timer last time I played on this map as a scav and got fucked up. So I need to go this way, I think. I have a general sense of where I am on Shoreline, but I don't have a real firm grasp of how the different map areas relate to each other. So, I can know where I am, but not how to get where I want to be, necessarily. Why is your character yelping? Because his leg got fucked up. The only reason he isn't limping right now is because he's dosed up to the eyeballs on painkillers, but apparently they only do so much. I really shouldn't be walking next to a concrete wall like this. It makes it really fucking easy to see me. Oh well. I think probably most players will have extracted by now, so my biggest problem is going to be if I run into another scav AI. And I hope I'm going the right fucking way. I really hope I'm going the right fucking way. Yeah, there's the radar, okay. So it's a bit further this way, I think. Yeah, exactly. All set for the firing squad. Yeah, okay, painkiller's not working anymore. And of course, because I'm on a scav, not my main character, it doesn't actually count towards, like, increasing my pain threshold or anything, sprinting around on a fucked up leg like this. but whatever. Wonder if you can actually OD on painkillers in this. Wonder if that's a thing. I'm not about to find out. Or I hope not anyway, but... Okay, I think this is my exit, but there might be scavs here. I think I got about half a mag in here, so probably about... What's this? 10 round mag, I think, so probably like 5 rounds. Maybe? I don't know. I don't know if this is a 10 or a 30, I didn't check. Please be the exit. Yeah, there we go. Actually, is there... Yeah, there's loot down here, isn't there? There's like a military case. Oh, too late. Oh, there we go. So the objective for that raid there was to get myself a halfway decent expendable weapon for my main PMC. I'm not sure we succeeded in that. I was hoping for an AK or something like that. Also, I only have like 2 mags for this thing, so... But I did get some decent loot otherwise. So we've got another PM. Put that there. Another PM mag. God, I have so many PM mags. So many PM mags. Okay, they're already loaded. 35 euros. Man, I'm rich. Some rubles. Okay. So, I've also got a bunch of stuff I'm going to want to put on my key ring. Put both of those on it. Actually, no, I won't put them there. That's where my meds go. So I've got some bandages, which is good because I needed bandages. Some extra ibuprofen. I can just sit there for now. Splint, which I didn't end up using. Two of these. Move that down there. That's not the full one. I'll put the full one there. And that can sit there. Actually, that can sit there. I just try and organize this so I've got a clear, like, distinct border between stuff I'm keeping and stuff I'm selling. God, speaking English is fucking difficult. There we go. Augmentin can go there for now. That can go with my other AK-74 mags. Down there. That can just go there for now. Duffel bag, I'll just put the scab vest down here, I can use that on another raid. Body armor. This. And shotgun. I don't really... Oh, actually, that might be worth something. It looks like it's kind of rare. There we go. Could use one of my AKs, but I don't really want to be honest. I want this to be an easy kind of setup to replace weapons-wise. We got there in the end. Actually, I'll keep that shotgun for now. I might sell it later. I'll probably pick up a better weapon during the raid, so there's no big deal. Let's see how much this is worth. Pretty much nothing. 67.95. Oops. Oh shit, that's worth a bit. That's worth basically nothing. That's worth quite a lot. Oh shit, look at this fucking scav. Got a fucking FAL. It almost looks like... Oh no, it doesn't have an optic on it, but he's got an FAL. Oh boy. That's gonna be fun. So I think... might do shoreline again, to be honest. I've still never done labs, so I have to try that at some point, but the scavs in there are like even worse than the scavs on all the other maps, so it might be a bit frustrating for me. And factory always turns into a clusterfuck when I do it. Grab some chocolate. I'll be right back. There we go, finally. Oh, Jesus. Visibility with a visor down is shit awful. Almost certainly going to be scabs down here. And I'm approaching from a pretty bad angle, to be honest. Mind you, I'm not sure there's a good angle to approach that bunker from. Against scabs. Against players there are. You can abuse their sight lines a little more. Might actually be clear. I wish I hadn't just said that, because I'm pretty sure I jinxed myself. Invisible wall right here, by the way. Tying in with what I was saying earlier. I think I might actually give the resort a miss this time, because that can be really dangerous early on when there's still a lot of players around. Not just because of the scabs ambushing you around corners and stuff, but also because there's going to be a lot of players there. There's a lot of loot in that place, and so that's where everyone goes. I'd probably be a little safer along the water. Yep, there we go. That's my reason to not go there, right there. I'd probably be safer along the waterfront, which is kind of counterintuitive because it's a lot more exposed. But also there's less likely to be players there, and if there's scabs there, I can see them from pretty far out. Even though I've got a short-range weapon, at least if I can see them, I can avoid them. To some degree. Oh, fuck, there's one right there. Yes! Proper rifle! And he's got a scab backpack. Yeah, boy! already have a 303 key? Yeah, I do. Okay, that's the swamp. You can kind of see what I was talking about earlier, about moving quicker when I'm under time pressure. I'm just sprinting around like an idiot. And not really paying much attention to cover or concealment. I shouldn't be moving across open ground like this. Also posted a few of my short stalker videos in general media. Awesome, I will check them out later. That pace bin was really interesting, by the way, thanks for posting that. I should probably put a disclaimer every time I go on to like a fucking rant about something. Like, my memory is not 100% as much as I wish it still was. So I do tend to be wrong about things sometimes. Like, if I'm going on to rant about something, people should probably research it for themselves just to make sure I'm not talking out my ass. But it is stuff that I find interesting. Like, I did brush up on which reactors were still operational and when after the stream, and I realized it was actually all 3 that were operational. One closed in 91 because the turbine hall caught fire, and they decided they may as well close the reactor. And then that was Unit 2. Unit 1 closed in 96, and then Unit 3 closed at the end of 2000. So 2000, 2001. So it was actually kind of surprising that Unit 3 was still in use when it's literally right next to Unit 4. Yeah, showing a bug with MP5 showing add-on models improperly were pretty low to the guys working in Call of Chernobyl. Stalker? Bug? No way. Surely not. Oops, wrong button. So I'm just going to bypass all those little farms because that's a really great place to get fucking ambushed. What I'm going to do is kind of do my usual, which I've tended to do on here. Ooh, maybe not. Okay, that's a power station. I reckon that's probably someone clearing out the... Yeah, that's the gas station that's coming from. If I can get the drop on them, I might be able to down them. If I don't, I'll just try and box around, I guess. I don't want to get into an extended engagement with another player here, it wouldn't end well for me. That's exactly what it is. Someone's engaging the gas station. I might be able to roll up on them. I'm just hoping they're so focused on what the AI down there is doing that they don't notice me. Of course, now they've stopped shooting, so I can't figure out where they are from the sound. Pretty sure they were on this side of the canal. Oh, is that at me? It's really close. Right there. I'm gonna just hope and assume it's a single guy. Probably gone inside to check the place out. It's right there. I think that's him. Unless there's two. He doesn't know I'm here. He's probably going to go to the docks next. There's someone else he's shooting at. Or someone's shooting at him. It might be him firing it at scavs down by the docks. So if I work my way around the back of the station here. Pretty sure he's alone. Now, the boat extract might actually be in position, so he could just be going for the extract. Don't know. But I reckon he's gone down to the ferry terminal there. In fact, I basically guarantee he's gone to that ferry terminal. There'd be no reason for him not to. Now, can I clear this fence? Yes, I can. Shit! He saw me. I think I got unlucky. He was probably just looking out a window or something as I crossed there. I should have gone across the road and down and then along the seawall. He wouldn't have been able to tell I was there until I was right on top of him. guy's smoking a cigarette through his fucking bandana. That makes sense. At least I've got a decent weapon as a scab this time. I'd rather have an optic for it, because then I can kind of keep my distance from people. So this is the thing, because there's not really any, like, you don't have zoom like you have in armor to account for the differences between the game's field of view and the field of view of the human eye, and like the resolution or like image resolution capacity of the human eye. You can't really make longer shots over iron sights in Tarkov like you can in real life, or like you can in, say, Arma 3 or whatever. Which is a bit frustrating, because I generally run with iron-sighted weapons in this, because optics are expensive. And I'm allergic to spending money, at least in Tarkov, compared to real life. Svetli, dead end, and right wing gym entrance, right. So, I think first port of call might actually be the radar this time. Just see what this guy's got for equipment too. So he's got one spare mag. But one spare mag is better than a poke in the eye with a burnt stick. We can make that work. And this thing should only take 1 or 2 shots to drop somebody anyway, assuming I actually hit them. Oh, it has a giggle switch too, which we're not going to use. I think after this raid I might head off for a bit. I don't know if I'll do another stream later on tonight or what. I might stay up all night, who knows. It'd be a really bad idea, but as we all know, that is a good indication I'll actually do it. So, we'll see. I might do some more DCS later if I can get it to behave itself. I do want to play some more DCS today. So if I can get on, like, in a couple of hours, well, like 4, 5, 6 hours from now, and hopefully find some people on Cold War or just Dogfight, then I might do that. I might stream it. But I think I need a bit of a break here in a minute. Don't know if this is clear or if I just can't see them yet. Hang on, is that a dude? No, it's not a dude. But there probably will be scabs hanging around here if not players. This place is a fucking nightmare to attack because you're attacking uphill, and then once you get up here there's very little cover and the ground's very flat. But there's still a lot of foliage around the outside of it, so it's easy to get ambushed. And there's very little cover for the attacker. Either someone's already cleared it out, or there's no scabs yet. Go inside. I'd say someone's already been in here and ransacked the place. Probably taken most of the good shit. Don't know if bleach is worth anything, I guess we'll find out. Is there anything in there? Yeah, there was. Kind of wish there was like a setting where you could trade off search speed for the amount of noise you generate when you're searching through containers in this, so that you could loot things without making much noise at all, but it would take you much longer. So you'd have that kind of trade where you risk being there when someone comes in versus someone who is already nearby that you might not know about hearing you as you blaze through the place, turning everything upside down. There was a game I used to play, mostly when I was on my laptop. I can't remember the name of it. It was a survival game, like a sort of 2D point-and-click survival game. And it had a mechanic like that where you had to trade off between thoroughness of a search or how much noise you'd make, and that in turn affected how likely you were to be discovered. So something like that in Tarkov would be pretty neat, to be honest. I'm really surprised. I'm really surprised at how quiet it is here right now. And it makes me very uncomfortable. A 40-round AK magazine. That's the first time I've seen one of those in Tarkov. We're not going to go up there, that's too risky. Definitely too risky if there's players around. Because once I go up, if they know I'm up there, all they have to do is just be more patient than me and wait for me to come down and shoot me. Totally exposed. No, I can't. Oh, no. Okay. Thank God. That was a bit closer than I'd like. There's a ferry terminal there. So where's my exit? Svetli dead end, I think is where I'll go. I'll do that one. Because the gym entrance is risky. Anything up in the resort is fucking risky, honestly. Even though there's good loot there, it's just way too exposed. Well, not exposed, but it's way too attractive to other players, so that's where they'll be heading. And because the place is laid out like a fucking labyrinth, there's a very high chance as well that I'll get sprung by scabs without realizing it. Like I'll walk around a corner directly into them or something. I'm gonna have to deal with scabs here, if not players. Maybe both. Hopefully not. Shit, there's one right there. You serious? There we go. I like how he was oblivious to that until I fucking finally hit him. There's probably more up there. If only. Oh, that's a fucking map. Oh shit, okay. I think that's the first time I've actually found a map. Shit, this guy right there. Don't know if he saw me. I guess we'll find out very shortly. Nope. That took a lot more shots than it should have. Do I want to go check him? I may as well. It's kind of exposed, but oh well. About 10 rounds in there, more or less. Oh shit, he had some money. You know what? I'm not gonna get greedy. I'm happy with this. Time to yeet my way out of here. Like, there's probably money and shit in there, which would be nice to have, but it would be nicer to keep the stuff I've got rather than go in there, find even better stuff and get killed. Because I'm going to lose everything if I die. I'm going to scav not on my PMC. Was that an entrenching tool? I didn't see. It might have been. I think there is an entrenching tool melee weapon in this. Actually, I probably should have taken it because I think it's fairly valuable. Far more valuable than this knife, I'm pretty sure. Having trouble hitting anyone with this damn thing. Again, because of the iron sights issue, and because of the classic game iron sights problem that only a few games have solved this. Battlefield 2 was one of them, because it used some combined 2D and 3D trickery to get around it, but the rear sight should not be obscuring my vision like that. I should barely be able to see the rear sight. It's basically a ghost ring in real life. But, you know, that's why, like, the FAL in most games is actually kind of shitty because of the sight obscuring your vision, when in real life it doesn't do that at all, and it's a fantastic rifle. I really wish that more developers would actually put in the effort to try and get the rear sight to not obscure your vision like that. Like, if you can't do it through conventional depth of field, you could maybe make it render the first-person weapon in two parts, make like the rear sight a separate model parented to the rifle or something, and then have it amp up the depth of field between the rear sight and the front sight. I don't know, I'm talking out my ass, but I think you get what I mean. Okay, I'm not going to go all the way over there, I'm going to cut across here and just hope for the best. There's buildings there, which I should definitely try and bypass. Because there's a good chance there'll be scavs up and down that road. Possibly players around here as well. Yep. Playing Tarkov. I was going to make this my last raid, but this one's been pretty decent so far, so I might do a couple more maybe. DCS was misbehaving, so I gave up on that early. I think I'm going to come back to it later in the evening maybe. Or tomorrow morning when I wake up, depending which happens first. Whether I decide to stay up all night or if I actually get a decent night's sleep. It's a pretty dangerous road crossing I've got to do up here. Mostly due to scavs. I don't think I've ever encountered a player here, but I run into scavs here all the time. And as we've established, scavs have aimbots. Okay, I think I'm good. Patch day for DCS? I don't know. I think it is, but I'm not sure. I don't keep up with the patch cycle. I don't keep up with DCS news in general, to be honest. I keep having the same problem with one of the textures in the temp textures folder. It's like an afterburner texture. I'm not sure what for, but it keeps failing integrity checks. I don't know why, because I haven't modified it at all. And I've verified my game cache and everything, and it still does it. Mostly on Growling Sidewinder's server, so I don't know. It's a pain. There we go. Now we got some stuff. Okay. Oh, I've got myself a decent rifle now too, hey? So put that there, put that there. Actually, move this for now. Inventory Tetris. Okay. There we go. So, let's see if I've sold anything while I was in that raid. I'll sell most of what I just got. I'll keep the rifles. But other than that, probably most of that's going to get sold. How much is bleach worth? Okay. Another key on there. Put the factory map in there. Oops. Oh god, what have I done? I think I broke it. I really think I broke it. That's worth a decent amount. By my standards. So 15,000? Yeah. Oops. There we go. That's barely less than the market value at this point. They're not worth much. I think that's all we'll sell to him for now. I love how you keep the empty boxes after you get the ammo out, like any sane person would do that. I think that's everything I need. Should be. I wish I had more spare ammunition, but that'll do. Actually, I might take a PM as well. Why not? I've got plenty of them to spare, so we'll take that. We'll take one spare mag, maybe. That's probably all I'm gonna need. Boxes, if they're paper, can be used for kindling, and if they're plastic, can be used for multiple things. Same metallic ammo boxes. Why would you? Oh, for the apocalypse, yeah, obviously. But in Tarkov, you don't need to worry about that kind of shit. At least not as far as I'm aware. Let's do customs against my better judgment. One of the things I don't really like about customs is it's very linear, because a lot of the areas are closed off by things like fences and walls that you can't really get through without going around or coming out through gates. It makes you very predictable. Which is why I tend to play a lot more on shoreline these days, because I can move a lot more freely. Some food. When you think you might actually make a block of chocolate last for more than a couple of hours for once, but you don't. Crossroads and trailer park. Understandable. Let's risk it. The last few times I've had this spawn, I've been almost immediately skull fucked. Usually in the, like, warehouses behind me, so I'll try and get through here quick. He says as he runs into a wall and can't jump over it. Alright, good enough, time to get out of here. Continue along to the next warehouse. I think that one's pretty dangerous. The last 2 or 3 times I've gone in that warehouse from this spawn, I've just been shot in the face immediately. This is going to be one I can't climb. Yep, ladder that I can't climb. Because of reasons. Whoa! Fuck. Yep, okay, yep. Told you. That's a scav engaging somebody. Oh fuck. Oh Jesus. There's so many people here. There are so many people here. Trying to figure out which side of the building this guy's going to exit. Probably this side. Around this way. Maybe a scav on the roof? Fuck it, we're gonna risk it. Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think that it's a fucking sniper scav on the roof here. Shit. Okay, so I don't really want to be in this building, but I've also got to be really careful because as I get far enough away from it, this dickhead's going to start taking pot shots at me. Good that way. right there. A piece of shit! I can't see the fucking red dot against the sky, and this guy has perfect aim. I'm dead. I'm so dead. No idea if that did anything. I'm gonna really need some fucking water here. My dude in this state. Fuck. That's one situation where iron sights probably would have actually been an improvement. Because I just could not see the red dot against the sky. There wasn't enough contrast. So I couldn't hit him, and then while I was trying to fucking snipe him through cover, his mate rolled up on me. Just gonna try and put distance between me and here. Oh shit. Fuck that, fuck that, fuck that, fuck that. Not sure if that was a player or a scav. Doesn't really matter at this point. I'm pretty vulnerable to either. I can't sprint for long distances because my dude will start crying about being in pain. And I think it does chip away at my health points, which I don't really have any to spare as is. Oh shit, there's a guy right there. Gotcha. I think that was a player. Oh, that was a fucking player, alright. Holy shit. I'm not gonna take that. I don't really need it. Yes. Oh, friendly, put that in there. Put that in there. Oh, right, I have a wallet. Why do I keep forgetting I have a fucking wallet for the express purpose of putting money in it? Yeah, boy. Okay. Oh, my dude's in pain again. Shit. So I've got to basically get to the other side of the map, which is going to be really interesting. Oh, drink. Yes. Because that's usually my big enemy when I get hit in the stomach is dehydration. That hasn't bought me a lot of time, but it's bought me some. I need to just bypass as much as I can and get to the fucking other side of that river. Trailer park. Yeah, the guy's just gonna whinge about being hit all the time. Got half in this. Well, that's alright, we will reload. Can I not reload? Is that full of 7? Yeah, no. Unload. There we go. There we go. And that should be full. Yep, it's full. Just gotta watch my fucking fluid status. Because dehydration kills you pretty fucking quick once you've already been wounded. There's probably people up there. I'd like to go check that for water. There's med supplies in there, but it's just... There's probably a guy on the sniper perch that's too risky. God, I wish it gave me a closer extract, or at least I had some water. It's kicking off pretty serious over there. Sounds like that's coming from new gas. Very near to new gas. Be careful crossing here. Oh god. I really hope they're not having a fucking sniping contest across the area I need to go. Because it sounds kind of like they are. Again, all these fucking fences... I'm probably going to get shot by that guy to my left. But with all these fences, I need to get over there. I can't do it. I have to go around. I can't go over. Or under or through. Oh, come on. Bro. Oh, no. Come on. And now I'm dehydrated. Or will be. Fucking bad guy. Fucking... Don't care if my guy complains he's hurt. I need to move. Something wrong here. And dead. They saw me. Oh, god damn it. See, if I hadn't been dying of dehydration, I wouldn't have rushed along that fence line, and I know I would have been fine. But because I needed to get to the extract in a hurry due to the first, I basically had to take a huge risk and get myself killed. So that was going to be a very productive raid, and now I've got nothing. Except for a bit of cash and old mate's dog tag. Actually, I'll wait for a second. Oh, and the key card. Those are actually kind of valuable, but I'll hold on to that for now. What's this? 15,000 rubles. That's not what I want to do. Can't find a place. Come on, dude. I might just chuck a scab vest on, honestly. I'll pick up better stuff in the in my next raid. I'm gonna actually jump off here in a minute. I just want to get this set up. Should about cover it. Alright, so I'm going to hop off for now. I might be back on later tonight / early tomorrow morning, or I might just get on when I wake up tomorrow. Really depends how tired I am, but I do want to get some more DCS in pretty soon, so that's what I'll be doing when I'm back on. Anyway, thanks for watching. I am going to get myself a drink and have a lazy night, I think. It's only 6:15, but kick back for a bit, relax, catch up on some stuff I missed. So, let's see, I'll host somebody. Who is on? Oh, Tawny's on. Alrighty. Well, that's who I'll host. Alright guys, catch you later.